Success isn't accidental. Wealth doesn't just arrive in your lap like a surprise gift. It's cultivated day by day, routine by routine, thought by thought. The people you admire, the truly wealthy, not just in finance, but in freedom, focus, and fulfillment, don't simply do different things. They think differently. And from that thinking springs structure, discipline, habits. Let's be clear. You don't get rich by luck. You get rich by design. You don't stumble into a strong mindset or a productive morning. You build them. And you build them the same way the wealthy do, one routine at a time. When you build routines like the wealthy, you begin to think like the rich. And when you think like the rich, you stop reacting to life. You start directing it. The wealthy don't begin their day without intention. They don't end it without reflection. They don't wait for motivation. They act on commitment. Their routines protect their time, sharpen their focus, and multiply their results. Want to know how to shift from surviving to thriving? Don't just chase money, construct the mental foundation it rests upon. That's what rich thinking is. It's not just about income, it's about impact, energy, and direction. Every day is a vote. Your routines are casting ballots for your future. The question is, are you voting for poverty of purpose or prosperity of mind? Rich thinkers ask, what's worth my time today? What can I automate so I can innovate? How can I grow even when no one's watching? They understand that routines are not about control. They're about freedom, the freedom to create, to give, to grow. You want to think like the rich? Then rise with purpose. Guard your mind, choose your inputs, keep your promises to yourself first. The wealthy don't hope to get things done. They decide, then design the structure to support the decision. You don't need to be a millionaire to begin thinking like one, but you'll never become one if you never start. Build your morning like an architect builds a skyscraper, deliberate, layered, and designed for height. Shape your evening like a gardener tends a tree, pruning, feeding, and reflecting. Every small act compounds. Every routine, repeated with intention, becomes a system of wealth. The rich aren't working harder, they're working smarter, with clearer minds and tighter systems. That's what you're after, clarity in your day, strength in your steps, purpose in your patterns. Begin today, think differently, build deliberately, act daily, and you'll find that you don't have to chase wealth. It begins to recognize you. Wealth doesn't show up by accident. It responds to structure, not to random effort, not to bursts of enthusiasm followed by long gaps of inactivity, but to consistent, organized, disciplined effort. There are people who work all day long, sun up to sundown, and still struggle. Not because they're lazy, not because they don't care, but because their energy is scattered. There's no plan, no focus, no rhythm, just motion. And motion without direction is exhausting. Building wealth is like building a house. You don't start by tossing bricks randomly across a field. You start with a blueprint, a structure, a system. That's what separates those who get ahead from those who just get by. The wealthy understand that structure multiplies effort. It organizes time. It focuses resources. It clarifies decisions. You don't have to guess what to do next when your life has order. You don't waste hours chasing shiny objects because you've already decided what matters. That's the secret. Success is rarely about doing more. It's about doing what matters most regularly. But to do that, you need structure. You need a system that captures your best intentions and converts them into daily routines. Scattered effort might feel busy, but it rarely feels productive. It creates stress, not results. You start things, but don't finish. You try a little of this and a little of that, hoping one of them will click. But wealth doesn't respond to hope. It responds to habits. The wealthy don't rely on mood. They rely on schedule. They don't wait to feel like it. They've already built it into their structure. They know when they wake up what they'll do. They know what time their thinking is sharpest. They schedule growth, rest, review, and investment. That doesn't happen by chance. It's the fruit of structure. And structure doesn't mean rigidity. It means design. Just like a tree has structure and still bends with the wind, a well-structured life has room for joy, rest, spontaneity, but it's built on a firm foundation. Without structure, you live in reaction. You get pulled by urgent things instead of focused on important ones. But when your life has order, it creates momentum. You stop starting over. You start building up. Think of your time like a builder thinks of materials. If the builder has scattered bricks, scattered tools, no plan, and no order, what will he build? A mess. But if he lays one brick a day in the same direction with alignment and purpose, something incredible begins to rise. Wealth works the same way. One good decision repeated daily creates more results than 100 good intentions spread across the year. Structure also protects your mind. It clears away decision fatigue. You don't have to keep asking, what should I do now? Because your plan already tells you. That clarity gives you energy. And energy focused through structure is unstoppable. The wealthy build systems around their goals. They turn important things into routine things. And routine things done consistently become powerful over time, whether it's saving, investing, studying, exercising, or creating. If it's valuable, it gets a place in their structure. Not squeezed in if there's time, not pushed around by distractions, but protected, because they know the return is worth it. You can't wait for the perfect time to get structured. There is no perfect time. Start now. Even small structure is better than none. A daily review, a set bedtime, a morning reading habit, one scheduled hour of focused work, small hinges swing big doors, and little routines repeated with purpose shape a life of wealth. So if your life feels scattered, don't panic. Don't try to fix everything at once. Just build one beam of structure, one habit, one system. Give your energy a direction. Give your goals a home. Give your future a frame. Because wealth isn't built in chaos, it's built in clarity. And clarity comes from structure. Once you have that, you stop guessing and start building. Every day, every block, every bit of progress stacked on top of the last. That's how wealth rises, through structure, not scattered effort. A successful day doesn't begin with the sunrise, it begins the night before. What you do in the quiet hours of the evening sets the tone for the next morning. Most people underestimate the power of preparation. They think success is just about how early you wake up. But waking up early without a plan is just tired ambition. What makes your day strong isn't just how it starts, it's how you set it up before your head hits the pillow. The wealthy, the focused, the productive, they know this. They don't stumble into a good day, they build it in advance. They don't wait until morning to figure out what matters. They decide that the night before. That way, when the sun comes up, they're already in motion. No wasted time, no wandering thoughts, no guessing what to do next. Just movement with purpose. Evening is a gift. It's the pause before the performance. It's your chance to reset, refocus, and realign. It's when you gather the scattered pieces of the day and prepare your mind for tomorrow's possibilities. It's not about perfection, it's about intention. What you do during those final hours before sleep is one of the clearest indicators of where your life is going. Take a look at the average person's evening. TV blaring, phone buzzing, mind drifting. No plan for tomorrow, no closure on today, no thought given to the power of the next 24 hours. Then morning comes, and they feel behind before the day even begins. They scramble, they react, they spend the first hours just trying to catch up. That's not a life of purpose. It's a life of panic. The wealthy don't do that. They close their day with discipline. They wind down with intention. They prepare their space, their tasks, their mindset. They review what went well, what needs improvement, and what tomorrow demands. It's not about being rigid, it's about being ready. Preparation gives you peace. When you know what's coming, you don't fear the morning, you don't dread the day, you're not surprised by challenges, you're prepared for them. That alone puts you ahead of most people, because the truth is, most people are unprepared, not because they don't care, but because they've never been taught how to end a day on purpose. The night before is your advantage. It's when you lay out your clothes so you don't waste energy deciding in the morning. It's when you write down your top 3 priorities so you're not scrolling your phone trying to feel productive. It's when you shut down distractions early so you can sleep deep and wake up rested. It's when you check your calendar so nothing surprises you. These are small acts, but small things repeated with purpose become the foundation of something big. The mind needs closure. It needs to know the day is finished so it can rest. When you don't close the loops of your day, your brain stays busy all night. It thinks and spins and replays conversations and worries. But when you review your day, jot down thoughts, write down tomorrow's plan, and settle your spirit, you give yourself the gift of calm. And from calm comes clarity. You want to win the morning? Start the night before. Don't rely on willpower, rely on structure. Build a rhythm in your evenings that supports your goals. Create a wind-down routine, shut down the screens, pick up a book, reflect, reset, and then go to bed with purpose, knowing tomorrow is already half won. The people who get the most out of their days aren't just morning people, they're preparation people. They don't wake up wondering what to do, they already know, because they did the work in advance. They honored the power of the evening. And you don't need a complicated system to start. Just choose one habit tonight, one thing that will make tomorrow better. Lay something out, write something down, reflect on something real. It doesn't have to be big, it just has to be done. Because success isn't built in the rush of the morning, it's built in the stillness of the night before. When you understand that, you stop chasing the day and start leading it. The first hour of your morning is sacred. It's the gate to your entire day. What happens in that first 60 minutes doesn't just stay in that hour. It echoes through every decision, every conversation, every moment that follows. If you own your morning, you own your life. And that's not just a nice saying. It's a reality the successful understand and live by. Think of your mind as soil. Whatever you plant in the morning will grow throughout the day. If you begin with chaos, you'll carry confusion. If you begin with clarity, you'll carry strength. That's why the first hour matters so much. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. Most people start their mornings like a fire drill. Alarm blaring, phone buzzing, rushing, scrambling, grabbing whatever they can to just get going. But that's not a strategy. That's a survival tactic. You can't build a meaningful life from a place of panic. You can't create peace, impact, or wealth when your first thoughts are stress and anxiety. You have to lead the day, not follow it. And leading starts with how you step into the morning. Successful people don't leave the morning to chance. They craft it, they protect it, they shape it to serve them, because they know it sets the tone for everything else. It's in that first hour that they win the inner battle. They choose to feed their mind, to strengthen their spirit, to align with their vision. That's not fluff. That's power. That's leverage. If you want to change your life, don't start with big, overwhelming plans. Start with your morning. Start with what you do in that first hour. Even simple actions done daily create massive results over time. 5 minutes of reading, 10 minutes of writing, a quiet moment of gratitude, a decision made with clarity. These are not just nice ideas. These are the bricks of a strong life. That first hour is your training ground. It's where you rehearse the mindset you want to carry into meetings, into relationships, into challenges. If you start strong, you face the world with strength. If you start distracted, you face the world already depleted. It's not about how long you spend. It's about the quality of your attention. It's about showing up to your own life before the world starts pulling at you. Here's what most don't realize. Your brain is most open to influence in the first moments after waking. That's when it's soft clay, ready to be shaped. Fill it with nonsense, endless scrolling, negative news, comparison, and that clay hardens fast. But if you fill it with wisdom, vision, truth, and purpose, you've shaped it into something powerful, something focused. That's why routines matter. Not because they make you look disciplined, but because they make you ineffective. The first hour helps you align with your values before you collide with the day's demands. It helps you center yourself in truth before you get hit with opinions. It helps you ground your actions in purpose before you're caught in reaction. And this isn't about being robotic. It's about being ready, ready to lead, ready to learn, ready to rise. People who drift through their mornings tend to drift through their lives. But those who command that first hour, they start a ripple effect that touches everything. So don't underestimate it. Don't give that time away casually. Don't waste it on junk food for the mind. Guard it, invest it, shape it with intention. You don't need to copy someone else's routine. You just need to create one that reflects what matters most to you. That might mean silence. It might mean motion. It might mean study, planning, prayer, stretching, writing, or simply stillness. But whatever it is, make sure it sets your soul in the right direction, because once that hour is gone, you can't get it back. But if you use it wisely, it will pay you back all day long. It will sharpen your focus, strengthen your mindset, and fuel your momentum. The first hour of your morning is not just another 60 minutes. It's a statement of who you are, what you value, and where you're going. Make it count, because when you do, the rest of the day starts lining up to match it. Everyone has goals. Big ones, small ones, dreams they talk about, plans they write down, visions of a better life. But not everyone sees those goals become reality. Why? Because between where you are and where you want to be is a bridge. And that bridge is called discipline. Without it, the goal stays a fantasy. With it, the result becomes inevitable. Discipline is the great separator. It's the difference between wishing and achieving, between hoping and having, between someday and today. It doesn't care how excited you are at the start. It's not moved by emotion. It responds to action, consistent, committed, repeated action, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. You see, motivation may get you going, but discipline keeps you growing. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the engine. Anyone can be excited for a few days. Anyone can talk big when the dream is fresh and the path looks clear. But when the work shows up, when distractions creep in, when results are delayed, that's where discipline steps in. It becomes your backbone, your foundation, your quiet strength that says, and I will do what I said I would do no matter how I feel today. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's not flashy. It rarely gets applause, but it works, and it works every time. If you want to lose the weight, build the business, write the book, save the money, learn the skill, you're going to need discipline. Not just once, daily, repeated, reinforced, cemented into the structure of your life. The truth is, we don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our habits, and discipline is what builds those habits. It's not about being harsh with yourself. It's about being loyal to your vision. It's the ability to say no to what's comfortable so you can say yes to what's meaningful. It's turning off the noise so you can hear your future calling. Discipline is the daily decision to prioritize long-term gain over short-term pleasure. That means you might wake up early when you'd rather sleep in. You might read when you'd rather scroll. You might save when you'd rather spend. You might work when you'd rather relax, not because you love suffering, but because you've decided the outcome matters more than the impulse. There's freedom in discipline. Most people think discipline is restrictive, but it's the opposite. It liberates you. It frees you from chaos. It frees you from regret. It frees you from that nagging feeling that you're capable of more, but never quite getting there. It gives you the joy of progress, the pride of consistency, the peace of self-respect. Every time you act with discipline, you cast a vote for the person you're becoming. One workout doesn't make you fit, but it proves you're becoming someone who honors health. One focused hour doesn't build an empire, but it proves you're someone who values their mission. And over time, those votes stack up. They build character. They build momentum. They build results. The people who achieve great things aren't always the smartest or most talented. They're the ones who kept showing up. They kept practicing. They kept learning. They kept saying no to distraction and yes to progress. They weren't perfect. They were consistent. That's what discipline looks like. Imperfect, but unrelenting. And here's the good news. Discipline is a muscle. It can be developed. You don't have to be born with it. You build it one decision at a time. Start with something small. Keep your word to yourself. Do it again tomorrow and again the day after. Before you know it, discipline becomes part of you, a quiet strength that doesn't need applause. It just gets things done. So whatever goal you're carrying, remember this, the dream is free, but the journey isn't. The bridge between the idea and the outcome isn't luck. It's not talent. It's discipline. And when you cross that bridge, one choice, one habit, one day at a time, you don't just get the result. You become the person worthy of it. The wealthy don't live in reaction. They live in anticipation. They don't wait for problems to hit them before they move. They see the storm coming while the skies are still clear. That's one of the key differences between those who struggle and those who thrive. Most people spend their lives responding to crisis. The wealthy spend their lives preparing to avoid it, or at least minimize its impact. Living in reaction is like driving a car by only looking in the rearview mirror. You're always late, always surprised, always trying to catch up. But when you anticipate, you drive with vision. You see what's ahead. You prepare. You adjust before it's urgent. That's how you move with purpose instead of panic. Wealthy people build their lives around principles that create margin. Margin of time, margin of money, margin of energy. Why? Because margin gives them room to anticipate. When you're always running at full speed with no space to think, you can't plan, you can only react. But when you build space into your life, you can think clearly. You can scan the horizon. You can ask yourself the right questions. What's changing? What's coming? Where do I need to adjust before the pressure hits? They study patterns. They learn from history. They analyze risk. They don't just guess, they gather. And with that knowledge, they act before they're forced to. That's how they stay ahead, not by being faster, but by being more prepared. You see this in how they handle money. The average person waits until they're in debt to start thinking about savings. The wealthy think about savings before the money ever leaves their hands. They prepare for the downturn in the middle of the upturn. While others are spending wildly in good times, the wealthy are building buffers. That's not fear, it's foresight. You see it in how they handle opportunity. Most people recognize a good opportunity after it's already passed. The wealthy recognize it while it's still small because they're watching, they're listening, they're not distracted by every noise. They've trained themselves to think long term, to see what others miss because they're too busy reacting to today. And it's not just about money, it's about mindset. It's about positioning yourself so that you can move when the time is right. Anticipation means you're not just running from fires, you're building fireproof systems. You're not just surviving Monday, you're structuring your week. You're not just hoping for a raise, you're building skills, expanding value, and preparing for your next move. The truth is, reaction costs you. It costs you time, energy, peace, and sometimes a lot of money. Anticipation buys you all those things back. It gives you the upper hand, the quiet confidence, the ability to lead instead of follow. And how do you learn to anticipate? You slow down long enough to think. You study. You ask hard questions. You pay attention to trends, not just in the world, but in yourself. What patterns do you keep repeating? What decisions keep putting you in tight spots? What habits are setting you up for success or struggle? Anticipation doesn't mean anxiety. It's not about living in fear of what's next. It's about living prepared. It's about sharpening your mind so you're never caught off guard. You're not flinching at every problem. You're facing it with a plan. The wealthy build systems that support anticipation, calendars that reflect priorities, budgets that reflect values, relationships that provide insight, routines that create stability. They know that when your life is scattered, your vision is clouded. But when your life is structured, your vision becomes clear. And with clear vision, anticipation becomes a habit, not a guess. So stop waiting for the next crisis to force your growth. Choose to grow ahead of it. Stop hoping things will work out. Start preparing to make sure they do. Don't wait for pressure to make you move. Start moving now with foresight, with planning, with purpose. Because those who live in reaction spend their lives cleaning up messes. But those who live in anticipation, they spend their lives building futures.